Are you ready?
Make your first move, so up on faith. The captain of the world, street fighter, fight all
チャンネル登録よろしくお願いします。